1.
Good day, Blood Bowlers, and welcome to a little sit-down segment that we're going to have today, chatting, called the Final Forum. And we're sitting down with some of our coaches and commissioners here as well to discuss the divisions and upcoming games for the final season.
Like Steve said, we're going to discuss the finals. My name's Carl. I am the coach of the Noble Spirit.
I'm Luke, coach of the Fast and Furious, also commissioner.
Peter, I'm backing up the commissioner. I do the paperwork. I've got the Teddy Bears this season, which is a rather odd team, but yeah.
I'm Stephen, the coach of the Royale with Cheese.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it.
Smelly cheese.
Before we start, some smelly cheese. Before we start, let's go through a little bit of an icebreaker. Now, guys, can you make a wild guess? Who's got the most casualties? Which team do you think has the most casualties at the moment out there?
I'm 100% reckon it's an ogre team of some kind, and I would reckon it would be what they call the Ogres with Attitude, Dave's team.
Dave.
That would be my bet.
Okay, so I would guess it'd be one of the Lizardman teams, so possibly the Scaly Finks.
Well, I actually did the table, so I know. But I'll let you know who I thought would do better with the casualties was the Toom Kings. It surprised me that their casualty count isn't as high as what I predicted it would be.
See, I thought the same as I would have thought that the Sand, Salt and Tears or Dave's Bull Hits, because I mean Chaos, you've got your Minotaur there, charging in, would be doing a fair bit of damage, but
Who was it?
roll drum.
It was actually an Orc team, wasn't it?
It is an Orc team.
Oh, really?
So
The
casualties,
Skullcats, I believe.
Casualties, the Orc team
Casualties 4.
4.
I think you'll find it's the Skullcats.
Casualties 4 is 20.
Yep.
Oh.
And they've only got 4 casualties against them.
Yeah,
Eight
so
games. That is amazing.
So 16 difference.
Well,
is
that
massive.
blew me out the water. I'm obviously not sure.
I don't know if you know, Pete. Do you know what the kill rate was on those 20 casualties? Was they all just casualties, or was there a lot of dead
I
ones?
only get the general, but up until round 8, there was very few deaths. I think there was 1 or 2 towards the end, and I was thinking, we're going to get through this, and we haven't been recording deaths, but sort of you get the gist of it. And then round 8, there was a heap of deaths.
Yeah. Rest in peace, El Jimador.
A lot of missed next games.
Oh yeah.
This league has been seen a lot of coaches. Come into games with missed next game.
I think we all should take a moment of silence for all the ones we've lost in this last week.
Yeah, it's brutal. Some of us will shed more than one
really
tear.
nasty ones. Yeah.
What about, just before we get started, do you want to do touchdowns? I'm just interested to see which teams scored the most touchdowns.
Yes. Who do you think scored the most touchdowns in the season so far?
I reckon it would have gone to a Skaven would be my first pick.
Yeah.
Skaven team. So I would simply I believe you're both the 2 Skaven players. I think I'll go with you, Stephen, simply because you're just higher on the leaderboard, so I'm going to put my bet on the Royal with Cheese.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have gone Skaven as well. Maybe not myself, but yeah. Definitely Stephen. He's got scoring potential there for sure.
Again, I know. I actually disagree with you on the Skaven. I think people underestimate the speed of the lizards. They've got those linesmen with a lot of move. Yeah. They've got a problem picking up the ball, but they tend to move really, really fast. So I think the lizards have potential to put a lot of touchdowns down.
That's where I put my money too. I would have bet solid goal on a lizard team, and I think I was going for either Adam's team, which was the Tequila Slammers, was that?
I love that name.
The Budget Montos.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I was hoping for the Budget Montos to have more scoring potentials, but that was my goal for the season. But no, who's sitting at the top today?
Go for it. Touchdowns 4.
Let's say touchdown 4s. Scaly Finks at 21.
Which
so
is
a lizard
team.
And
a lizard team.
A lot of them like 17 and 18. Yeah, Skaven. Yeah. Oh, and Undead, of course. Not Undead. Underworld as well.
Underworld
Would have been up there.
Yeah, people don't know the Underworld, how they work, and I've gotten quite a few good runs.
I guess with that we'll move on to the.
Well, obviously, we've introduced our teams. We know who we are. This is 2 Dice Blocks, so welcome back to the channel. And let's go through a couple of bit of a panel questions. Now, we have allocated different divisions to our amazing panelists over here. So let's start with Division A. Group
I
A.
believe that's you, Luke. I'll
Awesome.
pop it up here so we can see the
Now,
Division A breakdown.
As commissioner, I've been watching all the games very closely, and I tell you what, Division 8 is red hot with some great talent, excellent coaches. Looking at Royale with Cheese, finishing the season on top spot with only 2 draws, 6 wins, and 0 losses, which is great. 0 losses for a season is amazing. I think that's great.
For a
Well
Skaven
done.
team too.
Yeah, go Skaven. Ogres with Attitude, last season's champion, Dave, who was Blackhawks last season, has taken on Ogres as a bit of a challenge to himself, and he's done amazingly. 6 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss. So it's super close at that top, like 1 loss, but you know, what can you do? Abandoned Teddy Bears, Pete's team, very, very good. Very, very good. And Giants, what do we have to say about Giants, guys?
Yeah, I've actually purposely played with the Giant a lot this season. It's cost me, and I've been able to do that because I've been low down on the TV, but I wanted people to get a chance to play against the Giant and get it out there. It's got a lot of pros and a lot of cons. So its high strength is great. Like I said, when I was trialling it with your Skaven team, I think there was about 6 or 7 casualties. They just knocked them all out.
The Fast and Furious.
But honestly, the con to the Giant is if you're really smart, you can tie him down because he can't move very well if something's tying him down. The pro is that he pretty well beats up anything that he's in base with.
Does he have Mighty Blow +2?
2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he can also double tap. So
He's
he
got
can
multiple block, is it?
multiple
Yeah.
block. So
And
he can
spokes.
so he can just smack both of you out of the way. So
Wow.
yeah,
So multiple block.
yeah. So yeah, it's been quite interesting. But yeah, if you ever really want to query how a Giant works, catch me out of a game or something like that, and I'll definitely go through it
We
a bit
might
with
try
you.
and get
This-
one of these Division A's for the
Yeah.
game of the round.
Oh, yeah,
the
for
big
sure.
game of the final round.
I know.
This would be a good time for you guys out there in the YouTubeverse. Put in your questions in the comment box. If you got any questions about the Teddy Bears or the Giants or any of our teams that we're mentioning today, please put in there, ask us some questions, and we'll be happily answer it for you.
To the best of our ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last up, we have the Scaly Finks, Lizardmen, Coach Tim, another very, very strong coach. 5 wins, 3 losses, and 5 wins, 3 draws, 0 losses. So 0 losses. Like, honestly, all teams are great, but it's super close amongst.
I will slip in here. If you look at the casualties against the top 4 teams, really high casualties. Like the top 4 teams, even though they've come in with high scoring, they've taken quite a beating through this season.
That's what you
Yeah.
got to take
Yeah,
some
I think
casualties.
there's some things to consider there because if you look at the Ogres with Attitude, their casualties against that, I would be surprised if that wasn't entirely against Snotlings. And Snotlings taking casualties, who cares?
What,
Yeah,
3, 4?
I've got the same.
Yeah.
So they just tend to get beat up. But
Yeah.
it's still quite. Even the Skaven took a quite high casualty.
yeah.
Most of them are linesmen. Good job, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think that a little bit there is that your gun-ho players aren't worried about losing players.
Yeah, for sure.
They're happy to wear it, knowing that it's Blood Bowl, and will play knowing they're going to lose players.
I mean, I think you know when it comes down to it, like if you need to sacrifice your favourite player to make that TD and win the game, you got to do it. You can't protect your players.
Yeah.
I will say, can I just chime in about the Scaly Finks? I played that kid, Tim. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. That's one of the best games of Blood Bowl I've ever played. It was
He is an amazing player. Such a great tactician. He just sits there and watches. He sees everything that is going on. But man, I did struggle with him in our first match, and I had to pull a draw with him. So this match that we have in the upcoming week is the grudge match for us.
Yeah, nice. It was great. Like the game I played him came right down last turn, last roll, basically to decide. It was an awesome game. Long game, but it was awesome. The Ogres with Attitude. Now, I want to say something about this, and that is that, if you forgive my language, having a team with every single Ogre with break tackle is bullshit. Like, that is so hard
We need to start
control.
talking. We need to speak to the commissioners. That come on, man. You gotta cut it at 3, maybe 3 or 4, not all 5, right? Come on. Man.
You know what we'll do with them? A Giant, because it doesn't.
It
doesn't care. Swat.
That's
My
why-
next game's actually against Ogres with Attitude. So.
Are you?
Yeah.
All
So you
right,
didn't get to
cool.
play in this season.
Hey?
You didn't get to play against Ogres
No.
this season.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I've played Ogres myself, so I definitely know how they work.
I tell you what, my money for Division A, or with a couple of the coaches here, Yeah, I'm going with Rookie of the Year, Royal with Cheese skating coach. Stephen.
Be interesting. It's going to be tough division. I think I love the fact that we've gone into these divisions because everybody's really on that same level.
Yeah.
So the next couple of games, people are going to be playing against people at their own level, or the way that they've been performing. So they're going to get some really good games happening, I think, which is really good. Good way to finish the season.
I'm actually keen and looking forward to it. As a rookie myself, I feel the weight of the rookies' eyes on me. Everyone's watching me to represent and stuff like that. So, but you know, if and when I do win, these are for you guys. The rookies out there, it's for you guys, right?
And that's.
I guess because you did your predictions, would you be your predictions for this particular division? Do you reckon? It's hard, eh?
It is a hard.
I know you're in the division, so you could just double back yourself.
Yeah. I think don't underestimate those ogres. I think the problem with the ogres, they're coming into this with a few missed players.
Are they really?
Next game, yeah. So I'm really going to try and hurt him in the next game, which could. Honestly, I can't pick in the top four. Because it can go either. It really can go.
I guess I have a question for you, which is going to influence my prediction. Do these final games have overtime at all, or is it still?
No, it's
still
so
just
if it's a draw. It's a draw. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a question. So between the teddy bears and the ogres, they're going to have very similar CTVs. So is the teddy bears going to be able to induce?
It's huge difference.
Yeah, the ogres are
it's about 300.
Yeah, the ogres are actually quite high.
With a little bit of treasury, the giant will come in.
And what I did was with the teddy bears, all my upskills are all random, so they're half cost. So I've only just tipped over.
Actually, there's one thing I did want to point about your case. So there's been a lot of talk. I know I've discussed with other coaches about random skills. Are they worth it? Are they not? I think your team is the perfect example of how awesome they are when they work. Because you've got a couple of, I think you've got like very long legs on like a. But your gutter runner and one of your other blitzers are ludicrous for the price that they cost. Because you've got like a monstrous mouth, 2 heads. Extra arm,
and my gutter runner's got horns now too.
Yeah.
So I'm just blitzing everything.
Which is great.
I just blitz everything with him.
And I think with mutations, randoms are actually not too bad, particularly on players who are going to get a lot of level ups. And if you look at that gutter runner that you've got for the cost it is so cheap for what it can do. It's such an efficient.
Wow, that's a lot of skills onto there for the price that you pay.
I think he's up to my gutter runner's up to his 5th skill or 6th skill, but he's still really cheap because they're all random.
So it's
that's gone against the traditional block first skill on gutter runner.
Yeah, no, I didn't bother. I thought, they're very chaos themed, so I thought I'm just going to let the chaos gods decide.
Chaos theory.
And right from the start, they're all random.
Well, look, don't let anyone tell you chaos theory doesn't work. So
boys and girls, random rules. If you're not sure, right? Random rules.
Leave it to Nuffle.
Yeah.
I guess if I was to do my prediction, I don't know. This is a really hard one to pick. I think. While I think the Scaly Finch coach is really good, I think into this match of other teams, it's not great. Like the Lizardmen don't like going against the Ogres, and I think you've got a lot of stuff on your team to deal with all those skinks really efficiently, and the Abandon team. Or maybe I don't know actually. I guess. I just think the Ogres with the all break tackle is just ridiculous. I don't know what you do against that. It's ludicrous.
I think my prediction on that side is it's honestly I'm surprised as well. I'm stuck on top with last season's top 3. So exactly.
Yeah.
So you got your champion from last season, your runner-ups in there, and to say I'm not intimidated is a lie. I am scared. My pick for if I
this is when you say I pick, I'm going to win.
Yeah. I would love to win. I would love to win it for me and for all the rookies out there. I would love to win it. But
who do you think your biggest threat is then?
My biggest threat would be the Ogres' attitude.
Just the potential for them to delete your team.
Exactly, the potential to delete my team. But I'm meeting them at my last match, and because Dave and myself are good friends and we've played many games along each other, and I've bounced off him on thoughts, and he's done the same for me. We kind of know each other.
Yeah.
And his only loss in the season is from me. So this is him.
His grudge match.
Yeah, he's gonna want blood. He's gonna want blood and fur. I would pick the Ogres of Attitude for the win if I don't.
I got a question for you, Stephen.
Yep.
Side bet. Anywhere in the finals, do you think you would?
Oh, most definitely. If I were to put like Skaven dollars goal on it, I would put 50k on the Ogres with Attitude. I would take anyone bet. I would put 50k on the Ogres. If I don't win, 50k on the Ogres for a side bet win. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
I guess we better move on to the next division,
round,
but
yeah.
that is
Next round.
Division A, the finals, the big top finals. All right, so Division B, we have the Dragons of yesterday, we have the Noble Spirit, we have the Krakens, and we have another ogre team, the Moortown Tyrants. I'm calling this division the injury division because there's so many players from across the teams in this division they've been beaten up in the last.
These four, one game gone a different way. They could have been in the top division quite easily. They're all on 4 wins, and they've all played really, really well. My one loss was to the Krakens.
Oh yeah, nice.
Who is?
Oh, I heard about that.
Yes, and he's playing really, really well. Noble Spirit, which is your team, all 4 of these teams are playing really solid. They just that, when you're just that close, they just couldn't quite pull in. And even if, like, I think the last game for the Scaly Finks, which got the last spot in the top 4, if it had gone a different way, and any of those in the next division would have slipped in.
Slam was
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So yes.
Well, he shot up to the top of Division 4, which is quite nice. Yeah.
So they're really good. I mean, you got Lisbon and Ogres, which are really punchy teams, and then you got the Imperial and the Elven, which are a little bit faster and a little bit quicker on their team. Although the Imperial Nobility have got a good blend. They tend to be able to control the field pretty well. So there's quite a
very strong control team. I found them.
So you've got Buffy, you've got control of the field, and you've got fast and throwing. So it's going to be very, very interesting games there. I think they're all 4 very good players. I'd say the 4 of them are still learning in terms of who their competition are. So
Team development.
Yeah. So in terms of when they get on the field, picking what the weaknesses are in their opposite, and I think that's probably what they're learning this season. And I think the final is going to be good for them because they're up against such different teams. They're going to learn how those teams work really, really well. They're going to be the 4 to be watching the next season.
Excellent.
I guess I'll weigh in here in this one. I don't know if you can see the CTV values of them, but comparatively quite low compared to the others. My CTV for Noble Spirit is currently sitting at 895.
Who did you lose?
Was that because you lost some players?
My first game going into, so I'm against the Kraken's first game, and that is almost a guaranteed lose. I have no blitzers. I have
So you didn't have the gold to buy anything?
No, they're all still there. They're all just injured. They're out for the next game.
Ah.
So my blitzer also took a negative armor injury, so he's got a lowered armor.
Yeah.
No, not the Baron, the other one.
See, I took the risk. I took 2. I caught 3 missed next games, so I actually retired 2 of them and rebought them.
I would have, but they were all leveled up.
Yeah.
So it normally wouldn't be too bad losing that many players, but they were all my positionals. So all my positionals are out. I'm basically playing the entire next game with only linemen. So I think the Kraken.
I think you're in trouble.
One. Yeah.
He's a really good player. He's a new player.
Yeah,
but he understands his team really, really well.
And I've played a lot of Elven Union before. I'm probably going to play him next season, so I know how crazy they can.
And he's happy to throw the ball around.
I was looking at his completions for the season, and it's not coming off one player; it's coming off multiple players.
Yeah.
So you've got that multiple threat from the back. The Elven Union catches with Nerves of Steel.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Well, Nerves of Steel dodge. They can get the ball anywhere and get anywhere.
They were the one that had the initial player with Cannoneer and the thrower, wasn't it?
I was like,
downfield.
Interesting way to start.
Yeah, that was he was my first game of the season. He was my first game of the season. That was a good start and really good player. Not afraid to go for it. Not afraid to risk to put in some risk to reap the rewards, and amazing. Just knows how to hold off.
Chris with his ogres, he's played his ogres for quite a while now.
2 seasons.
Very solid.
Can we give this man a medal? Look, do you realise he's got into 8th place into the 2nd division with no rerolls on an ogre team? I don't know how that's.
Where did you learn no
Is
rerolls
that
from?
no-
This guy, right?
Are you serious?
That's
No
it.
rerolls.
No
at all?
rerolls, not a single one.
Why am I not watching his matches?
I like give that man a raise. I don't know. Like, imagine what he could do if he had rerolls on that team. That would be.
Don't need him.
Yeah.
If
Wow.
Pete had it his way, we would have no rerolls in the game.
Don't need rerolls.
To put it in perspective, the other ogre team has 6 rerolls.
What?
6
Yeah,
rerolls.
there you
Yeah.
go, wow.
So.
And the other one there I was going to flip with, so Cage is the Dragons. Yes, he's a new player,
Oh,
but
very
he's a very seasoned board game player or tabletop player. So he's played games for a long time.
Yeah.
So he understands tactics. So he's picked up the game really, really well. I played against him, and it was just unlucky that that I beat him. It was a closer game than the score said. But he's playing really, really well too.
His Croxigo had the Mighty Blow and tackle and armbar and tackle, wasn't it? So you couldn't dodge out, and if you fail, he could use armbar, and then he had
The negative
Mighty
one
Blow
for,
as well.
-1 for the prehensile tail. It's a good combo on the
Yeah,
Croc score.
that was a very good combo.
And
for
it's
that.
a lot of people like to use the Crocs just to lock stuff down and
Yeah.
to double down on that I really like. Because then you don't have to worry about throwing blocks with it, and if it's engaged, you can just leave it for a turn.
I think the
Yeah.
decider
Don't
here
have to
is
go
if you've got 2 teams that aren't great on the ball, they're not good pick-up ball carriers, which is your Lisman and your Ogres, unfortunately. And then you've got 2 teams which are a lot better.
Hey,
picking up the
I
ball.
will second that.
And
3 teams. I don't have anyone who can pick up the ball at the moment.
More
So
Normally, yeah. So I would. My bet's going to be either Noble Spirit or Krakens at this stage. The speed of the Elves, I think, are just going to do it for them, and I'm going to predict the Krakens are going to take out Division B.
You know what? I think Baron Bacardi is just too good to not put money on. So yeah, definitely Noble Spirit.
See, I put money on Noble Spirit, but I think if the Nurgle, the Nuffle Gods are in play, the Krakens could steal this. They could come back from behind and steal it, and because he's a new player and we're not really giving him seeing much of his play, but I think he can steal it from.
my money is actually on the Krakens for the simple. Sorry, my phone's going off.
That's all right.
It's a bit awkward on
I
the
might
thing.
slip in while you took. For those that aren't in the league and aren't familiar with it, we're going to the final with all these points 0.
Yeah.
So no one's carrying any of these points into the finals. So even though we've got all the touchdowns and all that sort of stuff, we're back to 0 for the final. So you've got a clean slate to win the finals on.
Excellent.
Sorry, what I was just going to say is my money's on the Kraken simply because I think out of all the teams, particularly the Dragons, GTA, and the Noble Spirit, they've come into the finals with like all their players, everything's ready to go. Whereas I know the Dragons got beat up in their last game.
Yeah.
I got beat up in my last game. So
And
that can spiral, right? Like, yeah. Well, Moretown might actually do very well. I just don't think. I just see Ogres with no rerolls, and I'm like, that's insane. But when you're losing players and a lot of players, it can spiral. You can lose a lot more players the next game as your new ones come on. It can go from there, and that might happen to the Dragons and the Nobles, I think.
Yeah, I think Loner on the Journeyman is going to be the deciding factor there.
I lost my game to the Krakens because I didn't have a reroll, and I was just so devastated I bought a reroll. I just simply that lost me the game. But
I suppose we should move on to the next
Division
one.
C.
Division C. I'll bring it up here. Who wants to
the
go through it?
divisions. So I'm taking charge of this one here. We've got the Tequila Slammers, which are the Lizardmans, the Fast and Furries, the Skavens, the Friendly Skullcats, Orcs, and the Lizard Wizards, Lizardmans. Lizardmans, yeah. 2 lizards, a Skaven, and an Orc team. I do feel sorry for the Skavens being caught in the large dashy teams. Look, it is one of the few things that after playing lizards, one of my scariest things are lizard at the moment now. I had this fear. Both my draws are with lizards. So with them, I think I played Tequila Slammer.
So does he play a bashy team or a fast team?
Tequila Slammer?
Yeah. Does he play movement or does he?
Who's
6 Saurus, Crocs, and the rest of the
So he's
teams.
bashy.
That's Adam's team. He's a good mix.
No,
Adam, yes, that's Tequila Slammer was the one.
Good all round.
drew.
Good all
What
round.
about the lizard
Julian
wizards?
Slammers, Adam Sputtered Moncoos.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong division. Apologies.
Yeah, your Skaven's going to get beat up, mate.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
But I've seen Cage, the Lizard Wizards play. Lizard Wizards is
Another
Cage.
rookie coach.
Yeah, another one, fantastic
Johnny.
coach. He plays, several games as well. Board games, very, very good mind. He sees the board. He does well. And I
think it's Johnny.
Johnny
Johnny.
is that? Oh, Johnny.
It's not Gage is in second. Yeah.
So there's a lot of lizard teams.
There we go. Johnny is it. Sorry,
Yeah, that's all
I've
right,
got to get in touch with all of these lizards. Lizards, guys, come on. Yes.
Yeah. I think unfortunately, Friendly Skullcats, they're not really positioned how he plays. He actually, due to personal circumstances, he missed 2 games.
It sucks. So they should be.
Yeah. So I don't think we can undervalue that Orc team.
Well, they're his 2 losses. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh, actually, sorry, no one was a draw because neither team could get to it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like he.
That happens.
Yeah, life happens unfortunately for him. But he's very.
Veteran coach.
Yeah, he's played for a while, so he's not too bad at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's good to see. I mean, a straight Orc team in the game.
20
I've not seen.
casualties.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Orcs are awesome.
Yeah.
They're real. I'm surprised we've only seen the one Orc team. They're
I mean,
They can
with
back.
20 casualties, once they hit hard.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And high armor, which is his casualties against is only 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
wow.
I'm
So,
going to get at
So
least
you
one.
just
I'm
can't
sure.
put him down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually with orcs, just flat orcs. Where if I have a new player, they're almost
Yeah.
always a team.
So
I
remember now,
recommend.
that's
yeah.
20 casualties from 6 games, not 8.
Yeah, true. Wow. Yeah.
Jeez, that's actually quite a fair bit. Yeah. Well,
I'm
look,
gonna
if
be running
you were
the
up,
opposite direction.
if it was up to me to look at a board and pick one, I want the Fast and Furious to be up there as a Skaven player. I want another Skaven player to be at the top of the table. But playing against the Tequila Slammer and knowing how they are, I would put my money on the Tequila Slammer to stay at the top of the table and actually win that game there.
I'm going to throw something in here, and I'm hoping Lukey takes advantage of that, is the new star player with the ball and chain.
Oh yeah, the Vermin.
And because the Skaven have a lot of speed, if he can figure out how to use this new star player with the ball and chain to do a bit of damage, and then use his speed as well, I think the Skaven. I'm going to put my money on the Skaven.
Is the ball and chain?
Yes.
Is it the same as the goblin ball and chain? How it works?
Except he's got his secret ability is he ignores the first send off. So
Oh,
he
that's
knows
not
secret
too
weapon
bad.
send off.
Yeah.
He just ignores the first one, and he's still on there. He just walks around. That ball and chain just wipes out. It's actually more
But
dependable than the bomb.
The downside of the ball and chain is if you ever do knock it down, it's immediately KO'd. So if you ever get a power against it, because I've seen people 2-die uphill, like when I play goblins, people would 2-die uphill it and they just get something to knock it down.
But you know what? If you're going for that ball and chain star play, you're ignoring his players which are running and flying down the side of the pitch.
Yeah, I definitely think they've got the speed to take advantage of it.
So that's he's the only one there with a real lot of speed in there, and it's about touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually behind the Skaven on this one.
And we can see the huge amount of touchdowns. He's
Look at that, man! 14 touchdowns. Not bad, man.
So we'll see how we go on that one. Anyway, you're in the division, so who's your biggest threat, you reckon?
They're all threats. I mean,
Anything with tails, that's
I'm
obviously
feeling
at
like
this
my
point in
team
time.
development has gotten to a good point. I've got a lot of tackle pieces, so those lizardmen, skinks, stunty guys are probably going to be nullified a little bit, but we will see how it all goes. My biggest threat's probably the Friendly Skullcats. Yeah.
I think just because I think orcs are awesome. I think I'm going to go for the orcs.
Yeah. Go orcs.
I reckon the Friendly Skull Cats. I'm going to go just because the lizards are going to. I just think that they can outbash the lizards. I reckon if don't play well, they can outbash the lizards, and the lizards. I think because there's so many lizards in the league, they're getting used to pushing people around. So.
AV10 is just too good to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do not miss out on that. But you mean with the animosity and all that?
No passing.
No passing. So
Doesn't matter, yeah.
once
If
you get
you know
involved-
how to play the teams with the animosity, I've got animosity as well.
Yeah,
You
it's
just
not
play
too
around
bad.
it.
You know
Yeah.
what? Good coach
Okay.
scores turn 8 and 16. I can see the Friendly Skullcats doing exactly that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Everyone, please keep a lookout, keep an eye out for the section, the Division 3, and cheer on your coach that you're going for. All right.
And I think all these divisions would be awesome to watch.
They're going to be good games. Yeah. So Division 4.
Division
Is that
4, or Division D. Who wants to do that?
I'll quite happily do it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Awesome.
you probably know these guys pretty well.
Button
Yeah.
Broncos, Lizardmen, Nightcrawlers, Channeling Undead, Dave's Bulls Hit, what a good name,
Ooh.
Chaos Chosen, and Orbiting Death, Imperial Nobility. Okay, so this is going to go anyway, I believe, because we've got a mix of rookie coaches and experienced coaches. We've even got a redrafted team in there with the Budgeon Broncos. Okay, so looking at the teams in a bit of detail, Budgeon Broncos, 17 touchdowns for, 17 against. So you'd expect a few draws in there. Nightcrawlers, I actually got to play them. They definitely can't be underestimated. Star players coming in there a lot with the Nightcrawlers based on their CTV being so low. Had a very slow start to the season and has really come good in probably the last 3 games and is going strong. Dave's Bulls Hits was one of those ones that I really thought would have done a lot better. But with a brand new Chaos team, we all understand that no skills except for horns out of the blocks is pretty rough. So they're more of a second
they always
season
have a
team.
slow start of Chaos.
And then Orbiting Death, Imperial Nobility, great team. New rookie coach, so of course there's that heavy learning curve when you start playing in league play. Who's going to win?
There's a couple of things I'd point out here. I think the Night Crawlers, they did have a very slow start, but I think that their team is starting to become a really solid team. Same with Dave's Bulls Hit.
To give Sean the benefit though, he was playing the other undead team pre-season.
Yes.
And he approached me being an undead player from previous games and all that sort of stuff. And I looked at him how he was playing, and I actually recommended that he switch the team simply because of the way he was playing. So I think that sort of threw him a little bit at the start of the season. He was still learning how that team worked a little bit, and that's why he's coming good now.
Yeah, because Shambling versus Necromantic, like chalk and cheese, so even though they're both undead, they played very differently.
Yeah, I think we looked at the teams that were coming into it, and the other undead team I just didn't think had the balls to stand up against a lot of the teams that were going to be coming into it. But switching him sort of threw him a little bit. Yeah. So but he's definitely got the hang of it now.
They're a team I'd love to see redrafted. I'd love to see that team come back. I think they'd be really good. Same with the Chaos Chosen, because I know we've looked at the Dave's Bulls Hits list. There's a lot of block.
Chaos actually, you were saying second season, but Chaos actually really when they come into their 3rd season, they just absolutely dominate. So if he wants to pull them along, the Chaos team will. But it's I haven't seen how he's done his upskilling. So
I just played.
Everyone gets blocked.
My last match, everyone's got blocked. I think there was 2 of the big Chaos guys that didn't have skills, and 1 of the Beastmen that didn't have skills. But I mean, with a Minotaur with 5 and 6,
that's curious. Isn't it? It's like my team's got no block whatsoever. So and then you get a team which is all block. So people are just playing their teams so differently. In the
I feel like you can't go wrong with picking block. It's a solid skill. It's probably it's always gonna come in handy. I think on those Chaos Warriors, just getting block first up is just awesome. Yeah.
I know the Nightcrawlers, when he started off the game, the season, it was very, very rough and very rocky. There were many occasions where he just felt like he didn't have the cohesion with the team, but as the game continued, he persists, which cheers up for that, man. Good up for that.
Something that we can't forget is actually Coach Dave was a finalist last season, so
he was one of the top 4. Yeah,
one of the top 4. So he knows what he's doing. Bit of a slower start, like you're saying.
Yeah, he was.
And the Lisbon man, the Brontos, they're a team they're a carried over team from the previous season. Redraft. But I think he's suffered a little bit this season as well. Like he's taken a bit of a hit. I think he just hasn't been able to break through.
There was one of those things where like my game versus Budgeon Broncos, it was 3-2 to me, high scoring game, not a lot of casualties, but it was just missing just that little bit to get over the line.
And I think a lot of his games were like that. They were really down to the wire, and he just missed out, unfortunately.
He was my last game, and we were in turn 8 of the second half.
Yeah,
I had the ball, so he blitzed me, bounced the ball out of me, ran in, picked up the ball amongst my stuff, dodged out, 3 dodges to get out, handed over at negs because I was still guarding, dodged out, ran to the line and touchdown.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think it was about
Somebody
7
get that in the highlight
rolls.
I was absolutely stunned. He had to push some players to get, he had to do a couple of blocks in there as well to make some room to get his player out. But he was counting the squares and he was working it out. And like I said, he got in there, he got the ball off me, picked it up, dodged out, handed it off, ran the line.
Now, we did manage to get a Budden Broncos game for game of the round.
Yeah, we did.
And that come down to the last turn as well. And you can, if you watch the game, you will see exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, he's a good coach. He's a good coach.
Against orchestrated death?
Yep.
Yeah. He did very well on that. That was one of the highest go for it I've ever seen.
He probably only lost to me because he failed a couple of critical blocks.
Yeah.
And I was able to take advantage of it. But yeah, so that's prediction there.
Prediction.
This is a tough one.
Yeah.
You know what? It can go. My heart's with Budden Broncos. They've had a similar season to myself, so yeah, I'm going with the sentimental vote on Budden Broncos.
My heart's with the rookie coach. You know, rough start, but he's got his team. He's coaching his team well. I'm going Nightcrawlers for the win.
I like to do this to me. I'm so torn. I would be like same the Nightcrawlers because I love that team.
Okay.
The Nightcrawlers, I love that team, but I also just think Dave's Bulls hit. I think that team was like on the precipice of just starting to destroy things.
No, I played against Dave yesterday, and he tabled me in sevens by halftime. So anything's possible.
I think even if either this finals or next season, if he chooses to redraft him, we're going to see Dave's Bulls hit. Doing some Dave's bullshit, right? They're going to be killing, murdering teams.
So I'm not going to discount the Imperial Nobility there simply because they're a table controlling team, and against the three teams he's against, table control is really going to work really well.
Yeah.
So if he can get some knuffle behind him, I think the Nobility team has potential to pull off some. Again, it's about touchdowns. And out of those four teams there, I think the Imperial Nobility has the best chance to get the touchdowns.
They're definitely the Agi team in that group, so they could do some Agi stuff.
So, like I said, if Knuffle's on his side, I'm actually going to back the Orbiting Death.
Oh, nicely done.
Yeah. Cool. And that's Division D. So I guess we'll go to the best division.
The fifth division.
E, which is personally my favourite, I'm going to say. Who would like to go through this one?
I think we've got four teams here. We've got the Sandsalt and Tears, the 300s, which is the Black Hawk. Sorry, two Kings are the first ones. We got Black Hawks for the 300s, the Gatorades, Lizardmen, and another Black Hawks team called the Orchestrated Death. These names of these teams are amazing. I'm so in love with the Orchestrated Death and their teams and his team. He's a rookie coach, one of the youngest players that we had in the season. And the first couple of games were a bit rough, but I tell you, of all of the games I've played, his game against me was probably the closest to me losing.
All it come down to was that blitz.
Blitz?
Chose the wrong player to blitz with.
Exactly. And as a Skaven player, we saw an opening and he picked up, but he was the only one that I felt that I had on the ropes, and I was panicking. I was like, oh my god.
It's true. He's making rookie mistakes. So once he stops making those rookie mistakes, he's going to make some. He's going to play
which only comes with time and practice. And he's fun to play against. Like that's the thing. Everyone who's played against him has said they had a great time, and that's really, I would take that over a really like a super good coaching day.
Fun fact: his match against the Badram Bontos, by first half we had 12 or 18 go for it.
Yes,
18 go for it with no fails. Guys, you understand how 18 go for
18
it
fails.
with Black Orcs? Like even any other team, I'm like, okay, cool. But with Black Orcs and no fails, he only failed. I think the second after the second half. The second go for it, he failed.
I would love to get his Black Hawks to do some sprint training with my nobles. That would be.
It was amazing. Myself and Luke were just trying so hard not to scream and shout at the excitement. We were trying to muffle it. But
anyone that knows me knows I don't do what's now called the rush. Because I've literally failed almost all of my rushes in my life, and the one game I lost was because I failed my rush.
Absolutely.
So I will not rush unless it's really, or unless I'm just letting.
What do we call it? The rush fail extraordinary.
I actually want to change your name in the chat to Shorefy.
Yeah. I can't do it.
Yeah. No point having short feet if you're going to fail. You're not going to attempt the go for it.
You can look at the Orchestrated Death with their movement. Just add 2 to it, and that's
another Lisman in this. I love the fact that there's Lismans all the way through the whole lot of all of this. The Tomb Kings was a surprise. I think he's a veteran player. But I think Nuffle is just really just stomped on him
Yeah,
this
yeah,
season.
that's not been kind to him,
I
unfortunately.
thought most
Same
casualties
with the
at start of
300. The
season,
300
same as
got
what you were saying.
Yeah, the Nafa gods and the Egyptian gods just don't mix. I
Yeah.
think in this season, and we find out why. Is that but amazing team, amazing player. One of the reasons why I got into Blood Bowl was watching him play the game itself.
So the 300, who's the coach?
That's
Mark?
Mark, and I played a game. My game against him, he was getting diced pretty bad. Like the dice were just not kind to him. I think I just took a 1 die at one of the Blackhawks, injured it. Like it was that kind of game, double sculling all the time, which is just rough. Like even with the brawler,
It's what I love about this division though, the bottom division of the league. When you're playing, particularly something that goes over, we've been going over 3 months now, 4 months. And if you're losing, you can get disheartened.
Yeah.
And it's easy to walk away.
It can suck.
None of the teams have walked away, and these coaches are all still getting in there and playing their games and having fun.
Yeah.
So even though, like we know, we've got 1 win, 1 win, no wins, 1 win. It doesn't matter to them. They've been enjoying the league. They've been enjoying the games, and they're still here playing.
Man, I wanted the Gatorades to win so bad. I love the name. Gatorades.
Well, Gatorades. I think if I was to pick a favorite and which one I think is going to win, I would say it's the Gatorades. They did in their last game what no other team has been able to do. They took out Baron Bacardi.
Did they?
So they're the team that demolished my team. They absolutely wrecked it. With something like, I think I had 3 players left at the end of the game. Two players in the last game I had left. And lots of injuries. He SP farmed off me pretty hard, so he's now got almost all his Saurus a block.
Nice.
So he's actually going into that really strong. No casualties, and his team composition is quite good. He's got a lot of really useful skills in there.
That interesting list with only 4 Saurus.
And but I think out of all the players, I can't talk. I haven't witnessed obviously all the players, but I saw him play early on in the league, and I versed my game in him. And as a coach, his skill improvement was like huge. So I felt like I was playing against a veteran coach when I played against him.
What do you reckon, Luke? Who's your pick in this?
Well, I think it's all about timing and coming into the finals with your best foot forward. Yeah, if I was to be a betting man, I'm going to go the Gatorades.
I'm inclined to actually go with the Toom
King,
simply because he's such a veteran player. He's going to be able to see the board a little bit better than the other 3, just simply because of experience. So having a clean slate, I think the Toom Kings have got a chance of actually putting this one away in this division.
I think so too. Yeah, I mean, with him not playing up the best, but I think at the bottom of the table he could steal this. He could take this. He could control the place, the board, and he's got really good players with amazing skills on his players as well. I got the chance to play him, and it was a learning experience for me. Being a rookie coach, coming up against somebody who's been in the game for eons.
What do you think? The 4 teams in this division are all what you would class as bash teams.
Yeah.
Does that say something about the league that we're actually in?
I don't think so. I think that division is a bash division. I was going to say don't discount the Blackhawks because they're probably like one of the best bashers in the game. And if it comes down to bashing, Blackhawks can pretty confidently, with their grab and brawler, outbash Lizards when they need to. I think, and they've got that control, so they can kind of maybe out-control the Toom Kings. I know Toom Kings are kind of considered a basher team. I've always seen them more as a control team, using those big strength 5 pieces to control the board. Yeah. I don't know. This is a division that could go anywhere, I think. Anywhere.
See, my fan pick to watch as a match. I like mirror matches. I really want to watch the Blackhawks play. Being that both of them are rookie coaches and, skill picking. I think the 300, one of his players has double block. Multiple blocks. And with Orchestrated Death, they're picking up skills left, right, and center as well.
There's a lot of interesting ones on the Orchestrated Death. So there's catch on goblins, there's pass.
Yeah, he was awesome. I played the goblin catcher. He has another goblin who can. I don't know if he has pass or something. He's actually got a goblin passer, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's amazing to see him with the name of Orchestrated Death. He is so musically inclined that most of his players are actually named after composers. So if you do see Bach take him out. Mozart, take him out. Yeah. So have fun. I think we've got amazing teams out there. But I want to watch the Black Hawks mirror match.
That'll be the next round 2. The 2 Black Hawks team,
Yeah.
And I guess so the one thing I want to say, just back on the Gators, I forgot to mention before, but go Draco. I'm a massive Draco fan.
Draco,
that's
right? It. Draco and Filet, come on.
I'm relying on you, Draco. I want to see you next season. My second question is to be: do we think we're going to see any of these teams again next season? And if so, maybe.
That is a really good question, and it's
I think it's up to people whether they want to build a team for the seasonal games or whether there's, I think like so we've got 10 rookies and 10 players that have come back from the previous season. So it's a case of, what skills are they coming with? Remember, you don't have to take the whole team. You can just pick a couple of them and bring them up.
I guess maybe I could.
That's a tough call.
Yeah, it is. Maybe I might phrase that. Which team would you love to see again next season? Maybe that might be a bit easier. If you were to pick one team to be redrafted so you can see it again, not your own, obviously. What would you pick?
It would have to be an underdog for me, like a rookie underdog. So I would love to see some success out of the 300, the Gatorades, or the Orchestrated Death.
Hands down for me, it's Gatorades.
I'm going to go Nightcrawlers. If I were to say a returning Nightcrawlers, I think if they come back with the skills that they have, they could kind of terrorize the next season and kind of spook some of the new players out. So
I'd like to see one of the returning teams from the first season carry into the third season, just to see what they look like in the third season.
Who would that be?
Like the Butter and Brontos. Who was one of the other returning teams?
Fast and Furious.
No, you built your team from scratch.
No.
You returned.
Everyone wants to see Baron Bacardi come back. I can hear it. I see it in the chat. We all love Baron Bacardi. Bring him back for his third season.
So I'm actually torn. I've got an idea of I want to try another team. But I'm actually really liking my Underworld Denizens at the moment as well. And like you said, my pre this that I've got some good skill sets in there. The problem is 1 or 2 really good players might not be enough for me to want to bring that team back.
And
we'll see how we go.
Yeah, the better they are, the more expensive they cost, and we love them. It's hard. I think I've had while I love the Noble Spirit, and I actually really enjoyed the nobility more than I thought I would. I guess I think I really like control teams. I'm not bringing back. I'm going to go Elves.
I think the Chaos Chosen team coming if the Chaos
Chosen
team comes back,
yes,
they're going to be a really solid team.
You could see them back on top of the table again if Dave Bullhits comes back and he could just share all of us. With mine, Royal and Cheese, I want to bring Charles Edward Cheese and the rest of them back, but when I do win it, I will be retiring them, so they will be there. They will retire as champions, surrounding the trophy. But if I do bring them back, be sure to see Charles Edward Cheese and the rest of my Cheese comrades on the field. All right.
Excellent.
Awesome. I guess that wrap it up. Any final closing thoughts?
I might just mention there that the next season, so this one wraps up middle of January, so we're probably going to be looking at February recruitment time, all that sort of stuff. So we'll probably see the next season kick off about March.
Also,
fantastic, guys.
Champion of this season, we have a potential match with the North Brisbane club.
So we might have.
I've been in contact with the commissioner of that club, and there's a good chance that we will have a top of the table clash, regional.
Just expedition game.
Yeah.
Nice, that'd be cool. Yeah.
SCBBC against the North Brisbane NB.
Yeah, North Brisbane
BBL.
A lot of acronyms in there.
I know.
Hopefully we'll pull in at least 20 coaches again next season. Last season was 20 coaches. We've done it again. If you look at some of the other leagues going around, particularly Australia, they're not getting 20 coaches. They're not getting 20 teams. So the Sunshine Coast League is probably one of the biggest in Australia. Yeah.
Well, guys, keep it up. If you guys want to play, want to try it out, even just want to test out the game. If you're a new player who don't know whether this game's for you, hit us up and we will gladly help you find your team and your footing in the league to come up.
Yeah, everyone in the community is really helpful.
Yeah.
Because the only thing Blood Bowl players want is more Blood Bowl players.
Yeah.
I think what's good is like all 20 coaches are here to have fun. There's no real pressure. There's no real stress. Everybody's enjoying their games and they go into their games going, just want to have fun. It's not really about winning except for this fellow. No, and even you. It's just about having a bit of fun and enjoying the game.
As much as we can have fun, we laugh. It is a tabletop game. So I think the more fun it could be, the better the game is. Win, lose, or draw. who else better to hang out with than these guys?
Yeah.
Excellent.
I guess one last thing I'll plug in there, just if you have want to, like we kind of guess want to know which ones are the final games you'd love for us to cover. We can't guarantee that we get it, but let us know in the comments, and we'll see if we can cover that as like a game of the round of the finals. All right, see you later, everybody.